It was back in 1989. I was 29 years of age, just rumbling on, doing what normal family do. I was working part-time. My husband was working for the railway network full-time. We had 2 children. Martin was 8 at the time, Stuart was 3. And one Sunday afternoon, Martin went to visit his friend and ran across the road, and the next thing I knew, my life had virtually come to an end. It was just one of those freak accidents. The driver was not speeding, was not drunk. He was just in the wrong place at the wrong time, and that was it. Martin was on a life support machine for about, I'd say about 24 hours. In fact, it was 18 hours to be exact. Before that, they did an operation on him to try to relieve the pressure on the brain. Then they put him back on the life support machine in the hope that the pressure would ease, and it didn't, and it wouldn't. At the time, I didn't accept that, and I thought that I wanted to take the machinery home and take Martin home as he was, and didn't care how long I had to nurse him for. And I think I felt like that for about maybe 2 or 3 years, that I just didn't understand why I couldn't have taken him home with the equipment and kept him there for me, purely for me. And I remember having a conversation with my GP at the time, who's since retired, and saying that I was disappointed that he hadn't been the one to operate. You know, obviously he was a GP, he wasn't a neurosurgeon, but you just keep thinking of all the things. If we'd done this, why couldn't we do that? Well, the inevitable happened at 1 o'clock on Monday the 5th of June, and they turned the machine off, and my precious little boy had gone forever. And my lasting memory of him, I've got 2 memories of him from that period, neither of which I like to think about, but one of them was in a hospital bed, covered in what I would call tin foil, and being really concerned that he was behaving himself, when that was just a ridiculous thing to say, because obviously Martin was in a coma. And the next time I saw him was when they brought the coffin back to my house, and the lid was open, and Martin was laying in there, and he had felt pen on his hands. And that's what I always remember about Martin, was the felt pen on his hands. Thinking about it, maybe they should have wiped that off, but I don't know, that's something I'll always, if I think about that time, I see Martin's hand with the felt pen on. And it was just an absolutely awful time, you know. I can remember not knowing to wash, comb my hair, eat. None of this seemed to matter. One thing that struck me at the time was how many people suddenly wanted to be your friend, because it was a story, the papers were coming because it had been an accident, and I think there are some people in life who thrive on other people's misfortune or grief, and all of a sudden these people who I vaguely knew from up the school were telling everyone they were my friend and being the conduit of information, which, you know, and that, of course, that did anger me. I do remember flipping out at that once when people were in the house and thinking, who are you? What do you want? No, what are you doing here?